here in Zach's Montana kitchen this afternoon on a pretty hot August afternoon. 2020.
2020.
The year of chaos, right, Tim?
Yeah.
It's all good. Today, Tim and I are gonna put together some very simple items for you folks at home to bring together yourself. So, Tim is going to sear these lamb chop T-bones in a hot cast iron, and we're gonna begin, Tim, with you seasoning both sides of these lamb T-bones with both the salt and the pepper that you have in front of you. So go ahead and grab those, give them a nice even sprinkling of salt and pepper on both sides, and we can get them in the hot cast iron.
I just wish I had the flair of like Emerald, where he went bam.
You can do that. Why don't you just go ahead and how did he do it, Tim?
He went like bam.
So it's important to mention, as Tim is seasoning these, you see how he's doing it. He's really getting a lot of salt and a lot of pepper on both sides. So a real heavy seasoning on these lamb T-bones is very important. And when they hit the hot cast iron, what we'll do is we'll get a nice crust form, not only from the meat, but also of the seasoning itself. Beautiful. That's a perfect amount. So you can see that this is already hot, kind of hot, there's a little bit of a shimmer already to it. So you can place those right in that pan. And you can hear that sizzle as soon as they hit the hot oil. Great. And it's important that those have a little space between them, just like Tim just did. That way it will allow them not to steam. If they're very closely packed in there, they'll steam. You won't get that nice crust form that we talked about a moment ago. And it'll take a minute for that crust to form on the hot oil. So once these get seared on one side, you're going to flip them over and sear them in the other. And we're going to put them in this hot oven to finish roasting. And you want it about a medium rare, medium perhaps, something not cooked all the way through? Yeah, okay. Those look perfect. Alright, great. So once again, just get them nice and browned on one side, and then they'll go into the hot oven. And after about, I'd say 10, maybe 12 minutes, those will be ready to come out and be ready to be served.
Right now I'm putting the lamb chops on the serving plate, getting it all nice and ready. Now a little decorative piece.
How gorgeous that is. At this point, Tim is going to take over the reins. He's going to be involved with the rest of the instructional video in order to explain how to finish the preparation on the rest of the menu, as well as show you some presentation ideas as well. So thanks for your time. We really hope you enjoy the food and enjoy the rest of 2020.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Hi, I'm Parker,
And I'm Tim.
and we're going to be showing you how to prepare the recipes that you were given for the event tonight.
And if you got the gala in the box, just follow the instructions on how to reheat the meal.
All right, Tim, let's get started.
Let's get started.
that we're going to do is we're going to marinate our pork, or if you order the chicken, the chicken. Take your time and strip off the leaves. Add your honey. And your Dijon mustard. Stir it in. And then add half a cup of canola oil. Toss your pork or chicken into the marinade. You can also let it sit in a Ziploc bag, which will make the mixing easier. We're going to want to cut up our vegetables and herbs first, because we're going to be sauteing those and then adding the beans. So let's grab a cutting board and a knife and start chopping the herbs and vegetables.
All right.
Cut the ends off of the shallot. Cut it in half lengthwise. Peel off the outside layers. Same with the onion. For your jalapeno, you're going to want to cut the top off. Cut it lengthwise. And then seed the jalapeno with a spoon, scooping out the insides. Make sure that you really scoop it out well and take out the pith, because you don't want that. All right. For the ginger, you're also going to use your spoon to peel off the outside. All right. Just hold it like that, kind of like you would a vegetable peeler, and just peel the skin off. If you're having a hard time, try getting a thinner spoon, which will have a more sharp edge, or you can use a vegetable peeler as well. I find it easier to use a spoon. Chop your onion. Mince your jalapeno. And mince your shallot. Grate your ginger. If you don't have a grater, you can use a zester as well. Use the side of your knife to crush the garlic. Be careful not to cut your hand in the process. Just press down. Try to keep the edge of the knife down on the cutting board and away from your hand. Crush it a little bit more, just to make the mincing process easier, and then mince. Juice your limes. And then chop your cilantro. Peel off any undesirable bits of your green onion. chop the ends off. And the tips. Then chop up the whole onion. And set that over medium to high heat. Let's add our jalapeno, onion, and garlic. And you're just going to saute that for 5 minutes. All right, Tim, next you're going to add your ginger. All right, just give that a little stir. We'll let that ginger cook for just about a minute, and then we'll add our black beans and our stock. All right, Tim, what are we making now?
Twice baked potatoes.
Twice baked potatoes. All right. We have our russet potatoes right here, and that's what we are going to be filling. So why don't you take these and just give them a quick rinse. And we'll toss them with a little bit of canola oil, salt, and pepper. All right, you want to rub those? This is all right, and we're just going to give these a nice dusting of salt and pepper. All right, let's throw that in the oven at 350 degrees for 45 minutes. Next, you're going to take your Yukon potatoes and boil them in a small pot with water until they're soft. Next, we're going to cook our bacon, and we're going to be doing that in the oven as well. We only need about a half a cup of crumbled bacon in the end, so 6 slices should do. So next we're going to stuff the potatoes. We've got our boiled Yukons right here. We're just going to throw that all in a bowl. If you have a masher, you can mash them with that. Otherwise, a fork works just fine. While he's doing that, I'm going to chop the green onions. And we've already crumbled our bacon. Looking good, Tim. Okay, that's good enough. All right, next I'm going to And the bacon, the cheese, the onion. That is a fourth of a cup of sour cream. Lastly, season to taste with salt and pepper. Cut it in half, and then gently scoop out the inside, leaving some room around the sides to give the potato structure. You want to try that, Tim?
Yeah.
Next, we're going to take some scoops of the mixture that we've made over here and fill the potatoes. Now, you can fill them up pretty full because this isn't going to become runny and drip over the sides, and repeat this with the rest of the potatoes. Lastly, you're going to bake these in the oven at 350 for 30 minutes. Start with the apples, and we've already peeled the apples, so they're all ready for us. You're going to want to dice your apples into fairly small cubes. Don't worry too much about the size though. It's not a big deal. It's all going to be going in the cobbler, and it'll all be the same in the end. All right, Tim, now that we've got our diced apples, let's add the lemon juice, the sugar, and the cornstarch.
All right.
So let's start by juicing our lemons, and we only need 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. So depending on the size of your lemons, you may need only 1, or you may need 2. Now that we've got our apples, our lemon juice, sugar, and cornstarch all mixed up, we're going to make the topping for the cobbler. And we have our flour, butter, white sugar, brown sugar, and cinnamon. So let's start by mixing the flour with the cinnamon and the sugars. I haven't measured out the cinnamon because we're only going to be using a couple pinches. And a couple pinches of cinnamon. Finally, we're just going to combine the ingredients in the baking dish. Tim, why don't you pour the apples in there? And just spread it evenly over the bottom. All right. Next, we're going to sprinkle our cobbler topping on top. All right, and that's it. Next, you're going to bake this in your preheated oven at 325 degrees for 45 minutes. Well, Tim, we're getting there, right? So, what do you think we're making right now?
Corn salad of some sort?
Yeah, so we're going to make a cumin corn salad, and you're going to want to start off by shucking your corn, and then heating up a skillet just over medium heat, because before we do any of this, we're going to toast our cumin. Cumin doesn't typically come toasted, so that's something that you are going to have to do yourself. So you're just going to heat up your skillet and then throw the cumin in there without any oil. Once it's fragrant, it's done. Start off by dicing up our onion. So you're going to want to cut the ends off. And then cutting it in half lengthwise. Now we only need about 1/4 of a cup, so half of the onion should do. And then you're going to dice it. Just take your corn and cut the bottom off. All right, and now you'll be able to, perfect, exactly. You'll be able to lay it flat. And you don't want to cut too close. The knife should basically just glide through the corn. Right. If you're cutting it too close, you'll notice that it gets harder, and you'll start cutting off these little hard pieces right here. So that means you're getting it too close. Just shouldn't be effortless, but it should go right through fairly easily. And do the same with the rest of the corn, and then we will cut up the bell pepper and the jalapeno and the cilantro. So we just need 1/4 of a cup of the bell pepper. So yeah, cut off a side, a good side like that on a large bell pepper like this, that should do.
Remove the white.
Perfect. That's good. And then dice that up. Now cut the top off of your jalapeno, just like before, and then cut it lengthwise in half. Take this spoon and just scoop out the inside. Make sure to get the white part, that's called the pith. Alright, and you're going to want to dice that jalapeno to small pieces. Make sure to clean up as you go, especially in this case where you don't want any of those jalapeno seeds ending up in your salad.
Oh, that's flavor.
It would, Tim. It would certainly add flavor.
Make sure you wash your hands after cutting any form of pepper, jalapeno or hotter.
You are going to chop up your cilantro. Perfect. Now we're going to add a little bit of canola oil. And then our corn. And we're going to let that cook for about 5 minutes. Give it a stir every 30 seconds or so. Add the onion, the bell pepper, and the jalapeno. And then you're going to want to let that cook for another 3 to 4 minutes. Lastly, you're going to add your cilantro and lime juice. Just toss it to coat and add salt to taste. And you're done. We're getting there, Tim. We're almost done.
Nice.
You know what we're making now?
Cornbread.
Yes, we're making skillet cornbread. So this is a cornbread that you are going to whip up and then cook in a skillet, not over the stovetop, but in the oven. Our wet ingredients, so we've got our buttermilk, right? Our butter, and then 1 egg. All right. So let's just put that in there. Butter. Just whisk the wet ingredients together. So we're just going to mix the dry ingredients with the wet. Use your spatula. And you just want to fold that in. Perfect. Next, you're going to take your skillet and grease it with just a little bit of canola oil. Use a paper towel. That way your hands don't get all oily. All right, pour that on in there. That's good. All right, and then you're going to bake this in the oven at 400 degrees for 15 minutes. Pull your either chicken or pork out of the refrigerator and season with salt and pepper. Heat up a skillet over high heat with some canola oil. Once that heats up, you can add your pork or chicken. allow each side to sear for at least 3 to 4 minutes. Now that we've seared our pork chops or chicken, we can finish them in the oven. And now you have your completed meal.
And now, don't forget the wine.